Hey guys, what is up? This is B Rai. I hope you're having a magnificent day. And I've been speaking with so many people lately, networking, and one of the common topics that sometimes comes up is calendar usage. Now, I consider myself a fairly experienced calendar user, but one thing that happens, like inevitably, whenever I show my calendar to people, it's insane, right? Like there's always this reaction to it. And a few of you have asked me how to optimize my calendar for time management, for do the best I can with my day. So I thought I'd make this quick training to do just that. So in this training, I'm gonna be talking about what I've learned using my calendar, some of the best practices, and if you don't know, I'm in the sales space. So this calendar is optimized for salespeople, setters, SDRs, coaches, consultants, any kind of person who pretty much rules their lives based on appointments and their calendar, both their personal and professional life. So with this said, uh, let's get right into it. So um, why calendars? Calendars are obviously good for tracking, right? And for me, time is very important. I feel like with the right strategy, it's pretty much impossible to lose. Like if you have the right strategy and you have consistency over time, you're just bound to win eventually. It's just simple math, right? So one thing that I found is that everybody has 24 hours. It doesn't matter if you are the most efficient person on earth and you get, uh, you know, $250 million a day and you get 200 things done a day, or if you are somebody who just does one thing every day and you're broke. Like you still have 24 hours, right? So managing time effectively is one of the most effective use that most effective ways to really get more time. Like if you're in the sales space and you get an extra hour a day, well, it might not really seem that much, but if you just see the numbers, 1 hour a day is one extra call a day, five extra calls a week. If you have a 20% closing rate, that's one extra deal a week. That might be the difference between an extra $1,000 to an extra 15, 20K, on a monthly basis, which is very huge to me. So let's talk first about a couple of principles, right? So when I first started using my calendar, it didn't quite look like this. It was actually very much different. It was super simple. And I remember I used it for like a week and then I quit. And then like a couple months later, I started using it again and I quit. So what I'm trying to say is like don't try to compare yourself to anybody who's been using the calendar for years and years. It's just for me is not a tool. For me it's just like a lifestyle at this point. Like it literally manages my personal life, my professional life, like everything. So just be patient with yourself. Like it might take some time to get the wheels going to make that an implementate to implement that to your life to the point that it just becomes part of you. Um, Another thing that I want to talk is about time scheduling. One of the most common mistakes that I see people do is schedule a tight frame into their calendar of whatever they plan to do. So I always recommend, especially if you're starting with your calendar, to always start with like an extra 20 to 30% more time per task that you put in your calendar. Like you don't want to be the person who's always late for your appointments or who's always short in time to do everything. It's just not great, right? So it's always better to have like a little bit of an extra time that you can utilize to your convenience rather than always be pressured by having this thing that's constantly just giving you more headaches. Now, time management is about time tracking. Like it seems so obvious, right? But like the most underutilized skills when it comes to calendars is actually being able to go back. Like whenever I finish my day, and sometimes also every time I finish my week, I do it a couple times a week. I do it every day and also at the end of the week. But I go back on my day, on my week, and I see what my calendar looks like, and I make sure that I change and modify that to reflect what I actually did. Like if I grab my calendar right now and I go back, I don't know, like many weeks before, I can tell you more or less what I was doing all in those times. And there might be times where it might be different, but like I can tell you exactly what I was doing, like July 4th, whatever. So the point of this is that you're able to not only manage your time going forward, but that you're also at the end of the week you're able to look back on your calendar, and if you have accurately measured everything in your calendar, you'll be able to see what you're spending your time, and this is going to allow you to optimize your calendar to kind of look what your ideal lifestyle looks like in your head, because that's kind of what the idea of a calendar is, right? Like we want to manage our time so we can manage our lives and get closer to the ideal lifestyle that we want. So going back daily and modifying that, it gives me the ability of just going back at the end of the week and telling it tells me how much time I'm spending on each thing in my calendar. And one thing that is super important, I cannot stress this part enough, is that your calendar is a roadmap. Your calendar is not about being perfect, it's about being accurate. Like, it's okay to just have time where you didn't do anything, but you have it there. It's an accurate reflection. So at the end of the week, you can be like, you know what? This week I procrastinated 7 hours, 6 hours, 7, 8 hours. So you get an idea of where you are, and once you're able to see it, is going to be much better and easier for you to kind of manage it and use that to kind of put yourself in the best position that you can to start eliminating those gaps. Now, let's get to the fun part. Let's create a calendar. So I'm just gonna eliminate this here. So you can see it. So you're gonna go here in the upper right. You're gonna get to this little clock wheel thingy, and you're gonna hit settings. Then you're going to go to add calendar and create new calendar. Let's do B-Rice new calendar. Whoop. Okay, perfect. And you're gonna create a calendar. Now calendar creation. Okay, boom, this created. So a little pro tip for those those of my salespeople that are like nomads or travel a lot. If you go up here to general and go to time zone, you can display secondary time zones. Because like, if I go right now, my calendar it just shows a regular calendar, right? But if I go here and I go time zone and I add Eastern time Toronto, yeah, sure, why not? You see here that it shows different a couple of times on my calendar, like a couple different time zones, so I don't have to like constantly check with other things or whatever. So I always have it handy. I can be like, hey, like 7 o'clock PST is whatever 10 p.m. 10 a.m. EST. So I don't know, that's just something that's very helpful. So once you have the calendar created, now we're gonna talk about colors. Colors are so very important. Now, I actually literally have a calendar that has my colors. It's like my, my cheat sheet. But I have this here because like at this point I'm used to it. Like I don't forget what any color means. But if you're starting to have your calendar, it's good to have it hand. So basically, what I do is I change all kind of activities depending on the color. So gray is gonna be me time. Me time is pretty much anything that I do by myself. If I'm gonna have lunch, if I'm gonna go to the doctor, if I am going to I don't know, just sit and watch TV and relax. That's just me time, right? So meetings is any kind of meeting that you have with people that you're networking with people that you're connecting with. Um, yeah, but not necessarily clients. Self care is anything that you do. Like in purple, you have anything you do for your self care, which is meditation, exercise, morning routines, all this kind of good stuff. Yellow is going to be your personal growth. This is the time that you schedule to the day to hear a podcast, to get some mentoring training that you got, to read a book. All these kind of like investments in your personal self, in your growth. this is going to be yellow. And you're going to also have pink for your social friends and partner time. Now, scheduling time for being social or being intentional with your partner, it's really important, guys. Like I cannot stress this enough. um, it's just going to make you feel more balanced in life. Even if you don't feel it, you will be more balanced, and it's going to reflect um, in your overall, attitude and I guess energy when you go up to the sales calls or your conversations with your prospects. Now, as far as colors for accounts, we have on light green, we have the number first account triages, and on dark green we have dark account meetings. Meetings is more if you're like a closing meeting. Triages is if you're doing your own triages. As far as the second account is going to be dark blue for sales calls and light blue for triages. So that's pretty much everything as far as the colors, and I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on this, and you're going to be able to see it visually. So just hang on. Cool. So once we have our calendar, one of the first things that we want to do is make it black. And I'm gonna explain. Like first, you have to go to this little three dots. Then you go to the plus sign in the bottom, and you move this all the way to the bottom left corner, and you hit save. Now, why black? This is so weird, right? So let's say you have my calendar, and I like a random meeting or a random prospect call or a triage pops up and somebody creates something for me, or it just gets booked on the calendar. Now if you see this, like they're just popping on the calendar. Like it just the color black, it just pops at your face. So it's super easy to see when you have like calendar full of like 50 million things. It's super easy to see that you have a brand new entry in your calendar. It's just like the way I see it is just it's almost like a notification. It's like it's there, it's very in my face, and it's not gonna change until I acknowledge it. So basically, when I get like sales calls, triages, or networking calls, any kind of stuff that is booked into my calendar, I just go and I book it orange for a random meeting. Or if it's like a prospect, then I book it like triage light green, closing meeting dark green, and so on and so forth. Right now, I'm just gonna eliminate it because this does not belong here. So beautiful. So now we have our calendar. We know what the colors represent, and we have set the calendar to black. So let's create the foundational calendar now, right? So the first thing you want to do is set up your sleeping time. That is one of the biggest things, one of the biggest blocks in your day, because you sleep a lot. So let's say for me, I'm gonna put in sleep time here, and I'm going to put in from 10 p.m. to 6 p.m., 8 hours. And I'm going to repeat this every day, daily. Boom. I'm going to create this in color gray. Boom. Now we have our sleeping time arranged. Beautiful. So next, one of the things that I like to do in the morning is having morning routines, right? So I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna go from 6 a.m. from Monday to, actually this is gonna be daily, and morning routine. Now I personally like morning routine for me is uh, working out, taking a shower, meditating, doing my daily affirmations, like doing all this good stuff to like make sure that I'm in the best self way. So when I start my daily work, I just start kicking it, right? But one thing that I would like to say is that if you're a little more advanced into calendar usage, you can get away with a little bit of like smaller blocks. But if you're like the newer you are, try to stick to bigger blocks because Like first of all, if you get too nitty gritty with your calendar blocks, if you start getting like 15 minutes, blocks, unless you're a very highly efficient detail person, and there are definitely many out there, but it's not everybody. Unless you're a very detailed person, this is just gonna slow you down and it's going to overwhelm you. Like I couldn't survive doing what Elon Musk does, like setting up his calendar in like 5 minute intervals. Like I would die within 2 days. So make sure to do big blocks of in your calendar, and little by little you can, if you like, to kind of like start making them smaller blocks. But like let's stick with bigger blocks for now. So next we're gonna have lunch. Yeah, I hope you have lunch every day because that will be a problem. So I actually have my lunch scheduled from Monday to Friday. Boom. And from 6. Uh, Now, at 6, I do my end of day activities, and this is more like end of day activities related to work. This is like me kind of winding down the conversations, the last things that I need to do, my admin work if I need to do any admin work, and so on and so forth. And in here is just me time because I am the best and I need some me time. Bam. And here is usually uh, going to like end of no, sleep routine. That's what I call it. Forgot for a second, but it's okay. Please forgive me, guys. Beautiful. So once you have this, and depending on the things that you do on your sleep routine, like it might be just purple. Like it's not no big deal. Like the whole idea is actually purple, because I basically like drink some tea, brush my teeth, yeah, like journal. All this stuff is like for self care. Um, but if you have things that kind of fall into two colors, like don't get crazy about it. Like just put one color. Like it's no big deal. Um, and this is going to be like your foundation from like Monday to Friday. Basically, what I do on Saturdays, I schedule friend time, and I do this from like 1 to like almost the end of the day. I just love spending time with my friends. This is purple. Um, so I intentionally have time with my friends. In here, we do church around this time frame, and this is rest time. Now, rest time is very, very important, guys. Um, if we are not on, like, rest is very important. It's just for us to keep peak levels. Having a good night of rest is absolutely important. So make sure to be intentional about setting your rest, and make sure to be intentional about setting your sleeping time as well. And yeah, like basically pretty much what I do Saturday mornings is just may do some light work. I do laundry or clean around the house or any kind of stuff that I have to do randomly. A lot of other times I do on Saturday morning. Now let's talk about offers. So plain simple, if you're an offer, you're going to be doing account one, and you're going to repeat this Monday to Friday. And you're gonna do this. And I'm just for sake of time, I'm just gonna duplicate it real quick. And I'm gonna put it here. Okay. So let's say you are in an offer and this is the time that you have dedicated. Like you dedicate like um, you know, 8, 7, 8, 9 hours a day or whatever it is. Um, so this is pretty much what you do. You set it up like this, and you have your blocks of calendars. Now, one very important thing to do is that when you set your your office hours, your receiving closing appointment hours or triage appointment hours, what you want to do is you want to make sure this is set up as free, because if you don't set it as free, you're not going to be able to book anything on the calendar. Like if you have any tool for booking appointments in your calendar, like Calendly, or OneHub, I think it's called, it's not going to block on your calendar unless it is set to free. Now, if you have one offer, this is just pretty much it. Um, you're done as far as the foundation. Now, let's say that you have multiple, like yes, you have two offers. So what you want to do, there's kind of a few different ways of doing this, depending on how many calls you get per offer and whatnot. But like I've seen people do either I've seen people do either the whole, you know, one block, or doing the whole kind of changing it and putting like one day is in the morning time, one day is in the evening. Boom. But basically, the main thing that you want to do is to make sure that your Calendly or your booking appointment software is set up properly. Because what's going to happen is that if you have this set to free, as you can see here, what's going to happen is that you're going to get your calls book in your calendar just like this. So you're going to be able to see that your appointments are in your calendar and so on and so forth. Now, um, let's see. I feel like I'm forgetting something important about this. Um, anyway, let's kind of move on. If you have any questions, shoot me a message or a DM, and I'll answer them for you. But now, this is kind of like my foundation calendar looks like, and I have this sets times during the day if I'm on an offer, so they can book on my calendar. It's very important that you. I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but it's very important that you set up the Calendly and the OneHub properly, so it books within the time frames that you already have in your calendar. Um, but one of the things that you might be thinking is like, well, what if I have more things to do? Like, what if you just have things to do throughout my day and whatnot? So, one thing that I like to do, I just use lists. I use lists for a lot of things, but what I do is if I have a list of like 10, 15 different things, I try to see what's the most important thing on my list, and I just kind of fill the empty gaps on my calendar. So like let's say this is my Monday, um, kind of what my Monday looks like in my calendar, and I have all these appointments with all these people. So what I'm going to do is like, okay, I have this time left. I'm just gonna do list uh, items, and I just kind of put it like that. So part of you being able to set or you asking your employer to set up the Calendly correctly to set on your calendar, it's you're going to be setting up appointments in your calendar within a specific frame of hours. Like I really haven't seen many offers where you get a call book from now to now. Like there's always a time frame, right? Like usually it's like 4, 6, 8, 12 hours. So if I know that my time frame is 6 hours, I know that if I see a space within my calendar that is empty within the next 6 hours, I'll be able to fill it with one of those list items. And like I cannot tell you what to do in your free time or your like empty spaces in your calendar, but I would just recommend to do anything from like prospecting, following up, any of those list items or conversations that you have pending, or pretty much any kind of those activities that actually get you further to a point. Like you don't want to be at a point where you have space in your calendar and you're just like, oh, okay, well, it's just resting time. Like That's just like we want to make sure that this is as effective for you as possible, right? So this is kind of how I feel my spaces. I use, as far as making lists, I use Trello, but like you can use anything from like a notepad even. It doesn't need to be anything fancy, just something that allows you to have some listed items that you can use on your downtime spaces. Now, that's pretty much what you do if you have like empty spaces on your calendar. Now, if you want to arrange or rearrange things, this is something somebody asked me, like if like how do you manage to rearrange things and get all things on your tasks and calendars done, if you end up getting calls booked on top of those calls. So the first thing is just booking, like setting up those list items within the time frames that people cannot set appointments. I usually check my calendar at the end of the day, and in the morning, and also like sometimes throughout the day. But like I set it up at the end of the day when I'm doing my admin work or in the morning time. So if I know that I see a potential, like I don't choose like 20 items on your list. Like, yeah, I'm gonna do all this tomorrow and like just cram them there. Like, don't do that. It's not gonna be efficient. What you can do is put like the two or three most important things, and kind of just go through them. And if at some point you're like, I just crush those two or three items, then yeah, go to the list and add a couple more things and just get them done. Like, no big deal. But just don't cram a bunch of stuff in your calendar, because it's just gonna give you a headache. But yeah, just book two or three items at a time within the time frame that you have available, and that should take care of the problem. Now, okay, now I'm gonna talk about a little bit of a an advanced tool or usage skill with the calendar, and that's pretty much gonna be it. So one of the things that is very interesting is that like we create our calendars pretty much to form our ideal life, right? Like we want to have our calendars like be able to organize our ways into the most ideal version of our lives. But what I've seen happening often is because of life, because of commitments, because of a bunch of stuff. What happens is that we slowly start shifting. We slowly start shifting our goals. We slowly start shifting sometimes like what our ideals are, like what our ideal lifestyle and kind of like time frames and everything is. So there's one quick way to make sure that on your calendar you keep things on track and you're as closest to your version of your ideal lifestyle is. And it's just simply you're gonna go and create a second calendar, and this calendar, create calendar, be rice ideal lifestyle call 2. You're gonna create the calendar. So this calendar is gonna be a calendar that you're not gonna often see and check. Like, this is not gonna be something you check every day, and all this stuff. It's just not gonna be that. This is gonna be something you check like maximum once a week, or sometimes even like up to once a month. And basically, what you want to do is you're gonna again you're gonna want to do those same blocks from from what you ideally want your lifestyle to be like. And I'm gonna do this real quick in here, just so I can show you guys. So we got a sleeping block, self-care, you have work. I'm just gonna make it a little like quick, if you don't mind me. Work, a little quick in general. But the idea is just to show you. Lunch. I'm not even gonna go through the weekend. let's say you have all this end of day routine. It's actually sleep routine, but whatever. It doesn't need to be perfect. That's the most interesting thing. Like your calendar doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be accurate. That's the most important thing. So you have this calendar, right? So what you're gonna want to do is like once a week or up to once a month. You're not gonna be checking this constantly, but this is just like an idea of what your perfect lifestyle, like what your perfect lifestyle looks like. And once every now and a while, you're gonna come and you're gonna compare it to your other calendar. So you're gonna be seeing that the colors they're pretty much the same, but here and there, like right now, like I haven't done any modifications or anything. But what happens in in life is that we start kind of changing things, and we start modifying, and we start working a little earlier for some of you, or you kind of like get your lunchtime a little shorter, or all of a sudden, I don't know, you even eliminate your friend time. So once you come to your ideal lifestyle, I didn't put friend time there in the ideal lifestyle, but you're gonna start seeing those differences, right? And you're gonna be like, oh wait, on my ideal lifestyle, I should be sleeping till 6. I shortened this here. So at this moment, you have like one decision to make. Do I want my new ideal lifestyle to be the way that it is, or do I want to change things back to the way like I feel like they should be? But it's just a very quick, easy guide to make sure that you are exactly where you want to be as far as your ideal lifestyle. See those kind of changes here. Started taking half hour for lunch instead of 1 hour just to squeeze some more work time. And some days you might have to, but like if you make it a routine, that you're just getting away from your ideal lifestyle, and it's just counterproductive. Um, so yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I have for now. Some parts might be a little wobbly in this training, but I hope this was very helpful for you. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, thoughts, ideas, ways of improving it, even feel free to drop it down on the comments, and or shoot me a message at DM, and yeah, I would love to talk about these things. I love geeking about tech stuff all day long. So yeah, hope this was helpful, and have a beautiful day.